Ukrainian Special Forces executed a daring and high-risk operation near the embattled Kupiansk sector, resulting in the dramatic capture of multiple Russian soldiers after an intense and brutal close-range firefight. The confrontation was so close that at times combatants could see the fear in each other's eyes, their lives hanging by a thread with every trigger pull. The battle unfolded within meters, where survival depended not only on weapons but on sheer courage, speed, and the will to endure under unimaginable pressure. According to detailed frontline reports, the Ukrainian unit launched its daring mission at first light, striking Russian forward positions with calculated precision and lightning speed. The operation was meticulously planned, aiming not only to push back entrenched Russian forces, but also to deliver a psychological blow by capturing enemy soldiers alive. Ukrainian commanders emphasized that such captives could provide invaluable intelligence about Russian supply chains, command structures, and upcoming military plans. As the clash erupted, the stillness of the morning air was suddenly ripped apart by deafening bursts of gunfire, exploding grenades, and the piercing echoes of soldiers shouting commands in the chaos. Ukrainian operatives charged forward with extraordinary resolve, engaging Russian troops in a deadly firefight at close quarters. The exchange of bullets at such short range turned the battlefield into a furnace of steel and fire, each shot potentially ending a life instantly. The fight escalated rapidly into a harrowing close-quarters struggle. In the choking smoke of detonations and the blinding flashes of grenades, soldiers were forced into desperate hand-to-hand combat. Some grappled in muddy trenches, others clashed with bayonets, combat knives, and even rifle butts as they struggled for survival. The air was filled with the sounds of grunts, the scraping of metal, and the cries of the wounded, an atmosphere so intense it tested the limits of human endurance. Eyewitnesses described the battlefield as a nightmarish scene of raw intensity, with Ukrainian fighters demonstrating relentless aggression and astonishing discipline. Despite facing stiff resistance and occasional counterfire, they pressed forward without hesitation, moving with deadly precision through Russian defenses. In some sectors, they were outnumbered, yet they outmaneuvered their opponents with superior training and tactical coordination, cutting off possible retreat routes and isolating Russian units into smaller, vulnerable pockets. The Russian soldiers, increasingly aware of their shrinking perimeter, attempted several desperate counterattacks to break through the encirclement. They unleashed frantic volleys of gunfire and hurled grenades in hopes of creating an opening. But the Ukrainians anticipated their moves, responding with crushing waves of firepower and coordinated flanking maneuvers. The ground shook under the violence of explosions, while smoke and dust reduced visibility to near zero. For the Russians, every attempt to break free was met with devastating resistance. By the midpoint of the battle, the tide had clearly shifted. Ukrainian forces tightened their grip, pushing the Russians deeper into a corner with nowhere left to run. Panic rippled through the enemy ranks as soldiers realized the inevitable. Some shouted surrender, dropping their weapons with trembling hands, their faces pale and sweat-soaked. Others resisted until the very last moment before being overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of Ukraine's assault.
Пацаны, не стреляйте! Пацаны, без брони, без оружия, с поднятыми руками!
The close-range fighting raged for nearly an hour, a test of willpower as much as firepower. Finally, the remaining Russian defenders were overpowered in their final stronghold. Ukrainian Special Forces stormed through barricades with ruthless efficiency, swiftly subduing the last resistance. The surviving Russians were dragged from cover, disarmed, and forced onto their knees as Ukrainian fighters secured the battlefield. Every corner was cleared to ensure no hidden threats remained.
Четвертый, выходи! Давай, 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 за пацанами!
The captured Russian soldiers, visibly shaken and exhausted, were immediately restrained and placed under heavy guard. They were escorted away from the front line to secure locations where military intelligence officers would interrogate them. Ukrainian commanders confirmed that the information extracted from these captives would be crucial in mapping enemy logistics, uncovering weak points in defenses, and preparing for future offensives in the Kupiansk direction. For the Ukrainian soldiers, this victory was more than just tactical, it was a symbol of resilience and superiority. The successful capture after such a deadly close-quarters clash demonstrated not only their skill but also their iron determination to resist against overwhelming odds. Every man involved in the operation had stared death in the face, and their survival, coupled with the capture of prisoners, was a testament to their relentless spirit. Military analysts quickly pointed out the wider implications of the raid. Such daring operations not only inflict tactical damage, but also strike fear into the hearts of Russian troops. Every captured soldier represents a psychological wound, a reminder that Ukrainian forces can breach enemy lines and seize control, even in the most dangerous and claustrophobic battle conditions. For Russia, this was not just a loss of men, it was a humiliation on the battlefield. This close-range clash near Kupiansk stands as yet another brutal reminder that this war is not only fought with tanks, drones, and artillery, but also with raw human strength, discipline, and unyielding willpower. It showed that survival is forged in the crucible of hand-to-hand combat, and that Ukraine's Special Forces remain unshakable in their determination to prevail against an enemy that underestimated their resolve.
Спасибо бригаде «Хишак», что сохранили мне жизнь, особенно экипажу бомбера «Ниндзя».